Hey guys, Philosopher here, and today I'm talking to you about A-Force. The newly announced team just came out today that Scopely has told us about 2 kits for the new characters and then 2 reworks. Yet another war offense team, ordinarily the sort of team that I imagine a lot of you might consider skipping, but now with the Scourge events, basically requiring us to build up the new teams, I suspect that this is going to be a team that Scopely is going to require for the next Scourge event. So let's take a look at this. Basically, the team right now it's going to be reworked Captain Marvel, reworked Jessica Jones. They have up stats and increased stats plus, I would say, light reworks to them, and then 2 new members. One is Spider-Woman. I'm going to skip past all of this backstory, although they do give some clues here about her stats: high damage and high speed, and then pheromone fighter, mitigation, and then she can lower the accuracy of enemies who possess the offense down when Spider-Woman's above 30% health, and yada yada. Okay, so let's. Keep in mind, she starts an alliance war match by applying offense down, so that's very powerful. All right, well, let's take a look. So first of all, one thing that you might be thinking is a good thing is she's a bio. So Spider-Woman's a bio character. She's also the other 2 reworked characters are bio. Jessica Jones is bio. Captain Marvel's bio. You may be thinking, oh, this is great. Finally, a non-mystic characters. The issue with this is that, a lot of people have been spending a ton of bio gear on the Web Warriors. And so what they basically did is, so the other new character is Mystic. So there's yet another Mystic character, and then there's a flood of bio after you just blew a lot of bio on your Web Warriors if you hadn't already, maxed them out or brought them up to as high as you could previously. The other thing I will just say about this that is an added trend, of course, is that now we have these additional reworks. There's a positive for players who've built up these characters that, already you get some value out of a character you've already built up, like if you already have a Captain Marvel built up or Jessica Jones. The other thing, of course, those characters are easy to obtain, particularly for newer players. The downside, of course, of this is it's just for many players more characters to build, right? So instead of just the 4 characters for the month, it's 6, right? I mean, because you have these 2 reworks, and who knows, maybe there'll be 2 more reworks. All right, let's take a look at Spider-Woman, and we'll start with her passive. On spawn, apply defense up for 2 turns to the whole team. Very important. It's almost like a standard now. It seems like almost every team starts with defense up. This is 50% less damage. On turn heal for 20% of this character's max health. Super powerful. It's going to create a lot of sustainability and help this character in a variety of game modes. I expect this character to be, very viable in Dark Dimension and, raids potentially. Obviously not going to outdo the Web Warriors, but just definitely some good things about this character. That the sustain is very nice. She gets a lot of focus. She gives max health to the whole team. And then on war offense, if she has the full team, it's a 4-character team right now, and there's no 5th member. Apply offense down for 2 turns to all enemies. This is a very powerful combo. Defense up and offense down, they stack. So when, in the past when we would push raids, a lot of times people would use Shuri for the defense up and Yo-Yo for the offense down. Because it's, defense up's 50% less incoming damage, offense down, 50% reduced damage coming out from the other side. This gives that's a lot of damage mitigation here. And then the team has tons of resistance against offense down. This is basically what like Doc Ock provides. And then on war offense, if this character has the full team and it's above 30% health, lower the accuracy by 25% for all enemies with offense down. So on top of the defense up and on top of the offense down, now the enemy is going to miss 25% of the time because they have offense down. Very, very powerful. It's going to give a lot of lasting power against teams like Young Avengers, for example. And that's really what I see this as a team. I think that it seems like a team that they want us to use to counter Young Avengers or Heroes for Hire. That's what I see here. Let's take a look at this ultimate right here. So this is not turn 1. This would be your turn 2 move. Attack the primary target for a lot of damage. This whole mechanic of additional damage, that we've had that for each positive effect with Shang-Chi. Now we've had it with Heartless with both positive and negative effects. Here's a similar thing. Additional damage per negative effect. They're kind of like this kit, this particular effect right now. Flip 2 positive effects and negative effects in the primary target and extend the duration of all negative effects by 1. That is very, very powerful. So that means that offense down will just be about to expire on turn 2. She's going to extend it, so it's really a 3-turn offense down on that one target. Very powerful, and of course, the flip is really nice too. The attack can't be dodged. It can't be blocked on war offense. Very, very powerful ability. Extremely powerful ability. Not surprising, right, with all the power creep in this game. Special, turn 1 move, attack the primary target, and apply ability block for 1 turn. By the way, just, let's say, a year ago, this was considered powerful. I remember when Silver Surfer came out and Misty Knight and all these characters, you're like, wow, ability block on turn 1 is becoming like such an easy thing to get. In the past, that was something, there's only a few characters who had that. Well, now, in addition to ability block for 1 turn, you're also putting out heal block for 2 turns, offense down for 2 turns. This, of course, generates those bonuses that we talked about earlier, the accuracy bonus, or I should say debuff. And then chain to 4 adjacent targets and apply heal block and offense down to all of them. So realistically, not only is everyone going to start with the offense down when she's on war offense with the full team, she's going to be reapplying offense down on turn 1 and then extending it on a key enemy again. Lots of focus on that attack. Unavoidable, can't be blocked. And then on war offense, gain 50% damage per A-Force ally. So that means an additional 150% damage. Can't be counterattacked. Very powerful. Her basic, this is really good. This is very reminiscent of, let's say, the symbiote Spider-Man basic. Like if you look at the symbiote Spider-Man basic, which was considered one of the best basics in the game for a very long time, it's very similar, right? 210% damage, defense down for 2 turns, rebound, chain, and so forth. And what do we have here? Very similar. Defense, 260% damage, defense down for 2 turns, then 2 adjacent targets for 200% damage, and then 1 turn of defense down. Can't be counterattacked or blocked. Very powerful. They have her as a blaster for some reason, by the way, which is odd to me for Spider-Woman, but it is what it is. And then A-Force, notice no Spider-Verse on her. No Spider-Verse on her. They don't want us to use her in Gamma or something like that, apparently. All right. Next character, Nico Manure. I hope I'm saying it right. Definitely not a character that I'm familiar with from the comics, but I'm sure she's got a important role in the comics. In any event, yet another Mystic controller. So it is what it is. Yet another Mystic character. And what do we see in her passive? Well, on spawn, safeguard, immunity, and death proof to the highest health A-Force ally, immunity and death proof to the lowest health ally, and then 50% drain and 50% focus, and then 40% focus for each A-Force ally. It's just an insane amount of focus, and 10% max health, and she gives max health to the entire team. And then look at her first move, ultimate move, Grim Tidings. Attack all enemies for 450% damage and flip all the following positive effects and negative effects. Deflect, speed up, and defense up. What does that remind you of? Obviously there's just tons of deflects on the Heroes for Hire. They can be flipped to bleeds. The speed up, of course, on the Young Avengers can be flipped to speed down, defense up, etc. on both teams to defense down. On war offense, if this character has 3 or more A-Force allies, so the whole thing, apply trauma for 2 turns and disruptive for 2 turns, not just to the primary target, but also to the enemy with the highest health and the enemies with the highest damage. And this is preventing. So right now, what allows the Dark Hunters to counter Heroes for Hire is that trauma and heal block that comes from Morbius. What this does, but what people have been doing is throwing Luke Cage in the middle to prevent that full chain. This just gets around that. And there's also some people who are, for example, so this way the disrupt, for example, in that circumstance, if Luke Cage is in the middle, is not on Luke Cage to prevent the taunt. In addition to that, there are people who are purposely making their Luke Cage bigger than, let's say, Iron Fist in order to make it so that the blinds don't go on Luke Cage. Well, this makes it so essentially, you're gonna apply trauma always to, let's say, the highest health and highest damage. You can monkey around with that, but usually that's going to get the key characters on, let's say, Heroes for Hire, for example. After every use of this ability for the first time during a match, randomly choose one of the following effects. They give a lore explanation above. This is just sort of a cool lore thing. This revive, by the way, very interesting. On war offense, 100% extra focus. On war offense, can't be dodged, counterattacked, or blocked. Just super powerful opening move. This just, you can see with all the damage mitigation they have, they're going to easily survive an initial barrage from a Heroes for Hire or Young Avengers. And you've got to think that a move like this is going to just do a lot to either team. All right, look at the special. So you have a choice here on war offense if you want to use the ultimate or special turn one. The special attacks primary and adjacents for 250% damage and 2 bleed, and she gains 2 regen. And then you use one. You get one of these you use every useless ability after the first time she get one of these effects. Apply disrupted, gain death proof, apply 2 counter. And to me, this is a lot less exciting than this one. I assume she's a very high damage character. They do say high health and speed. One thing that, by the way, is a little contradictory is they say they'll get a bit of fun by applying a random positive effect when she uses her abilities. If you look at her special, it says the opposite, right? After every use after the first time. So I think that this probably is a typo. I wouldn't surprise me with Scopely. So this should be just on the first use as opposed to after the first use. Her basics, very, very interesting. Attack primary target for 270% damage. Clear all heal, block, and stun from the ally with the highest damage. In other words, basically trying to undo, what you might see from, here's an example, for example, what you might see from Heroes for Hire, right? Where Colleen Wing's going to throw out the heal block. Call that ally to attack the primary target. That's so powerful. So not only does she attack, but she always calls the highest damage ally to attack. And then this is, like I said, I'm not sure about the wording here, but either apply breed, gain defense up, or heal the most injured ally herself by 15%. What I will say is these effects are impactful because, in my view, in a war match, your first attack is what matters the most, right? The first time you use these abilities. In other words, by the time you cycle through your ult, your special, your basic, the match is basically over. So I think these are actually fairly powerful, even though they're not something you can count on. All right, let's look at the revamps here, the rework. So Jessica Jones gets some major love, which you should expect because, let's face it, if you look at her now, the only thing that didn't get buffed is her resistance, which is already through the roof. So Jessica Jones is an interesting character because if you look at her let's look here at the stats table, she's got insane resistance, like higher than any other character in the game by far, even though she's an old legacy character, right? And her kit has got some really interesting elements to it, like clearing all negative effects on the whole team, generating ability, energy, and so forth. The issue with her primarily, in my mind, has been speed. So, here, we'll look here at her resistance. So her speed's only 100 speed, which is very low. That's, I'd say, a problem with her. And then her other stats are low. Her Morgan Le Fay's got 1 million health. She's got, under 400K. And you can see that, her armor's like paper mache. So do they solve that? They certainly do. They increase her health by a lot. They increase her armor by an insane amount. They increase her speed by a bit. Okay, so that, instead of 100 speed, now she's at 113, which definitely makes her a lot faster. To give you a sense, 113 speed is like Maria Hill or Dagger or something. That's up in kind of where characters are now. 100 speed is like Black Bolt or Mr. Sinister or whatever. These very slow, noticeably slow characters. So definitely a significant update for Jessica Jones in terms of stats. The kit, like I said, very light rework. So here, generates ability energy instead of for self or a random defender ally. Now it's for a random defender or a force ally. Okay, that's really the only difference there. Here, it's defender or a force ally. That's really it. Does have, though, this is new, barrier the entire team, which is really nice. Herself and all a force allies for 20% of the character's max health, then barrier other allies for 10%, and +1 defense up to the entire team, and immunity to the team. So this is very significant update. I don't mean to suggest that it's not. That is a very significant update. And currently, I'll just so you can see her kit here. Hold on. So if you're looking for Jessica Jones, her kit, she has both of her moves available on turn 1. So you could on turn 1, if you start with defense up for 2 turns, she can extend that an additional turn and give immunity and barrier. So just an insane amount of sustainability on this team. And then the ultimate, now it not only attacks the primary target, it attacks primary and adjacent and clears all positive effects on all 3. That's a lot more powerful. So maybe this is more than a light rework. Maybe I was not giving that enough credit. Another 10% max health for the whole team, 40% armor for the whole team, 40% resistance for the whole team. That's pretty big. And on spawn, fill speed bar for the team by essentially by 20%. That's going to give them a start. And that's going to make it just like how you have X-Force or Shadowland being quick. I think this is a team that will have staying power because not only are they going to have so much damage mitigation, as we've already discussed, but they're going to go first. And I think that's really important. All right, let's talk about Captain Marvel. Definitely significant stat increase here. Most important one, just no longer was her health damage anything very important. She was kind of a tickle now. So if you look at this damage, the damage stats, I mean, Captain Marvel used to be such an important damager, and that's Miss Marvel. So if let's go to Captain Marvel, 90th now in damage. In a game, that's barely above average, right? She used to be this massive damager, could delete people. And this is going to help a lot. 28% additional damage, increase in stats above the board. What's the big change here? Well, what's new? While she's in binary, on the end of her turn, attack all enemies for 150% damage and clear all evade. So basically the clearing evades is the big thing here. That's very nice against Young Avengers because Echo puts 2 evade on the entire team. So that's a big one. And then in war, the attack can't be blocked or dodged. That's also really nice. That's important, to just deal with certain teams and characters. Not only obviously if you're up against like Web Warriors, but also, like dealing with those, evades and characters and so forth. Additional max health for the team, which is very nice as well. So more of a light rework on hers, a more substantial rework for Jessica Jones. But the bottom line is this looks like it's going to be a very good war offense team, able to counter some of the top teams in Alliance War. Not like Darkhold probably. I don't know. We'll see. But certainly it seems to me like it's designed to counter teams like Heroes for Hire and Young Avengers. So it'll be important in war. Ordinarily, for many of you, this would be a team that you just may not have the resources for. With the Scourge system that they've entered, basically, you almost have to build everything now. So my advice to you is if you're not into war, if this is a team you ordinarily wouldn't build, hoard your resources, get the shards, whatever shards you're able to get, and then hoard your resources, and then you can make a decision once you see the next Scourge event as to which teams you want to upgrade. All right, guys, if you like this video, smash that like button, subscribe to this channel. If you got comments, questions, cheers, jeers, happy, sad, angry, mad, you can leave them below or go to my Discord. That's linked below. You can also go to my Twitch stream. That is linked below too.